Ani, Pricilla and Mishnikas, Ogimakwa Indigong, Makwa Ninamawashkash Nodem, and Dodem, Henby Inlet and Donjiba. So, hello, my name is Pricilla, and my spirit name is Ogimakwe. My clan is the Bear Clan, but I also claim my mother's clan, which is the Deer Clan. And I'm from the Henby Inlet First Nation, and I now live in North Bay. I want to say thank you for the invitation to join you in this Jubilee launch tonight and express that even before the opening prayer, I want to share that I acknowledge Kairos's commitment and fidelity to the vision and the practice of its founding members to do justice ecumenically at home in Canada and internationally. Jubilee 2025 witnesses to that commitment and to the desire to do as God asks. The prophet Micah says, "This is what God asks of you, only this, to act justly, to love tenderly, and to walk humbly with your God." And so I invite us to turn our attention to our God and greet our God with this prayer. Yujemnado, Great Spirit, we, your sons and daughters, come before you in the great circle of life to give you praise and to thank you for this day and for the blessing of coming together tonight. In all four directions, you give an abundance of blessings, enough for all. The fire that we call the sun gives its warmth and light to all. There is enough water to quench the thirst of all. The earth is fertile and fruitful enough to provide food for all. And moment by moment, you gift every living human being with air, enough to take the next breath. Forgive us and our brothers and sisters who often fail and sometimes even refuse to share your many gifts so that others may live. Thank you for the Jubilee call, the Jubilee 2025 call, to share both our resources and our hope. All that you have created continues to be because you have spoken it into being and you sustain it. You continue to speak, inviting us to listen, to hope, to act justly, to love tenderly, and to walk humbly with you, our God. From time immemorial, you have spoken to us through the songs of birds, the beauty of the sky, the murmur of wind in the trees, the cry of the wolf, the voices of elders, and the longings of our hearts. In a world that has forgotten how to listen, you continue to speak to us through the cry of the poor and the cry of the earth, through the call to be pilgrims of hope, through the invitation to live and act in the spirit of Jubilee. May we listen with open hearts and minds, and may we respond with love. Amen. And I'd like to share with you two stories about listening, because for me, listening is a key gift that we need in our world today. One of them is a traditional story, and the other is one from my own experience. So the traditional story. There was a time when all the two-leggeds were able to listen to each other and care for each other, just as their Creator had instructed them. Slowly, they began to quarrel, to take without giving, to keep things for themselves instead of sharing. They began to stop caring. The Creator sent many messengers to them to call them back to the Creator's ways, but they did not listen. Finally, the Creator decided to stop the sun on its journey. The people began to suffer. They chose to hold a great gathering. Everyone came, the people, the animals, the birds, everyone. As they talked, they realized that they needed to send someone to the Creator to ask that the sun continue on its journey. They looked around and saw the eagle perched high in a tree. They said, "Brother Eagle, you see the farthest, you fly the highest. Can you fly through the crack of dawn to the Creator and ask him to pity us and send the sun on his way?" Eagle agreed. He went to the Creator and spoke for the people. The Creator listened and said, "Go back to my people and tell them, I have sent many messengers, and you have not listened. I have been asking you to come back to my ways, to share, to love, to care for each other." So Eagle brought the message to the people. They said, "We will do as the Creator asks." When Eagle delivered their response to the Creator, they saw the sun begin to move again. It continued on its journey as it does today, because the Creator listened to the people, and the people listened to the Creator again. Do we dare to listen to the Creator, our God, speaking to us in the cry of the poor, or calling us to share our riches? Jubilee 2025 is a call to do that. Do we listen to the voice of God in people like Pope Francis, who calls us to treat the earth as our common home, to see not only our family and friends, but those who are different from us as our brothers and sisters, who calls us to walk together as pilgrims of hope on a shared journey? I pray that we listen. And my second story, I was once invited to be a listener and to reflect back to a group what I heard in their gathering. For 3 days, I, along with 2 others, listened and made notes. The afternoon that we were to present what we heard, I was so overwhelmed by the richness and variety of what I heard that I could not put my thoughts together. I panicked as the time approached. At the break time, I decided to go outside to a small patch of green grass. The sound of the Toronto traffic added to my distress and my inability to gather my thoughts. I sat down on a bench and tried to become still. A robin was hopping around in the grass looking for food. I began to watch. I noticed that it would stand very still, cock its head to one side and listen, and then run off in another direction for a short distance. It stopped, cocked its head, listened, then ran off in another direction. After 3 or 4 times of doing this, it stopped, poked its beak into the ground, and pulled out a worm. I was amazed. I thought that despite the very loud noise of the traffic, the robin could locate a tiny worm in the ground because it was listening for a particular sound, the movement of the earth as the worm dug its way in the ground. I realized that I needed to be like the robin, only I needed to listen to the very particular sound of God's voice in the voice of the many people and messages, the messages of the people around me at the gathering. That kind of listening is what will help us to act justly, to love tenderly, and to walk with our God. I hope and I pray that as we listen for God's voice, we will hear and respond it in the call to engage in Jubilee 2025. That is your hope and your prayer as well, I'm sure, because that is what we're beginning tonight. Thank you.